Warm greetings. This is Dexter Wakefield for the Tomorrow's World Webcast. Is history the future? It has been said those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. But in a strange twist of history in our day, the radical Islamists of Islamic State, or ISIS, have learned their history quite well and have decided they want to repeat it. And they plan to force everyone else to repeat it as well. What history do they want to repeat? They want to take Islam back to the 7th century AD, a time we call the Dark Ages of history, and to forcibly reinstate that period in the Middle East, then in Europe, then the world. And towards that end, they have announced the reestablishment of the Muslim Caliphate and have begun military campaigns all across the Middle East. And they are also committing mass murders and beheadings and posting videos of these atrocities on the internet. These events are front page news all over the world today. Islamic State sees this as a continuation of what Muhammad began back in the 7th century when Islam was first spread throughout the Middle East by military power and conquest. Later caliphs invaded Western Europe and conquered Spain, Sicily, southern Italy, and much of France, but they were stopped before they got to Paris. Many Americans don't know that the Muslim Caliphate tried to conquer Europe for about 1,000 years, and they nearly succeeded at one point. The Europeans haven't forgotten those horrible centuries of Islamist aggression and wars. Here's a news item. The government in Italy is on high alert since ISIS made threats to attack Rome. In modern times, Italy has not been affected by the terror attacks that have hit other European cities, but now there's real concern. But not everyone in Italy is taking the threat seriously. Some joke that the ISIS invaders would be brought to their knees by the stifling Italian bureaucracy and the traffic congestion in Rome, but that's not likely. By the way, the threats come from the ISIS affiliate in Libya, which is located just south of Italy across a narrow stretch of the Mediterranean Ocean. But did you know that Islamists have already attacked Rome? In fact, they did it 3 times, in 843 AD, in 846, and 849. They actually were able to sack and loot the treasures of the old St. Peter's Basilica in the year 846, and they occupied Sicily and much of southern Italy in those days. And now, Islamic State, which claims to be the revived caliphate, threatens to attack Rome once again and wants to, well, repeat history. The Italians are debating whether it is a credible threat or not, but due to military cutbacks over the years, the Italian army now has only about 5,000 deployable troops. The Obama administration has asserted that ISIS is not an existential threat to the U.S. in the sense that Germany and Japan were in World War II. But radical Islam was certainly an existential threat to Catholic Europe for a millennium. That's how long the Caliphate's military campaigns lasted in Europe. 1,000 years of wars in Europe. And now Islamic State has declared a revived caliphate, and they are very committed to repeating history. The U.S. has guaranteed European security since World War II, first against fascists and later against the communist Soviet Union. If the Obama administration doesn't believe that Islamic State is an existential threat to the U.S., while it is clearly such a threat to Europe, then is the U.S. military acting in the Middle East as a proxy for the Europeans? And if the Americans are unsuccessful in neutralizing ISIS, will the Europeans have to band together against this common enemy once again? Is a replay of history in the future for the Europeans? Bible prophecy says that a powerful Middle Eastern alliance will attack or push at the Europeans to the north as events spiral out of control at the end of this age. You need to know what the Bible says about this future history. Please request the free booklet, The Middle East in Prophecy. It is eye-opening information about what God says will surely happen in the Middle East in coming years. You can request it at www.tomorrowsworld.org. This is Dexter Wakefield for the Tomorrow's World Webcast.